Hey, in the recent few days, I've had quite a few epiphanies, and I have some of them recorded because I had an inkling to just set the camera down and record while I was having a verbal stream of thought, and I had a few realizations, and I'm going to give you the bullet point versions of them, and eventually we'll break them down even more. So, in no particular order, everybody is an energy vampire. Everybody, whether you realize you're doing it or not, you're absorbing energy from something. So, without going too far into it in this one video, do what you can to get the energy that you're getting from sustenance or the external world, but get it from God, Source, a connection inside. Like, look for it, become the predator, become the hunter, become the vampire, but do it towards God. It's almost like a reverse psychology, anti-narcissism thing. It's very, very interesting, and we can talk about it later. Because if you really think about it, even when we're consuming food, what are we consuming? Consciousness. It's basically consciousness. So why don't you just consume the source? The other thing is the void. I have become deeply aware of a lot of things regarding the void. And it's actually thanks to, well, hindsight's 2020. But it's one of the questions you guys asked in one of the recent videos about Lilith. And I've been really, really like just sitting with Lilith and that energy for a few days. And yeah, the void. It's something. There's something that you should be aware of, and that's you're manifesting everything every moment right now. And you're receiving it in a delayed, Amazon package kind of way. So like one package a day, but you're manifesting something every single second. So by the time you get something you manifest in an entire minute, to you it's been like, 6 days from now you're going to get like the apple you thought of or something. But when you're manifesting, you automatically utilize an emotion. So when I was like seeping with the void, I felt like it was me and I was it. It was anyway, I remembered something as my own memory of when the earth shaped its own terrain. How it must have felt to create a forest. You know how when you're standing in a forest, there's so many different sensory experiences you can have. From the way the wind feels, to the way your eyes perceive the light through the leaves, to the way things smell, to the way things feel physically, to the energetic and spiritual aspects of it, to the magical and scientific things. You can look at it, a single forest, in so many different ways. But at its core, what you're perceiving is a vibration. And you're translating it with your sensory organs. And it's giving you a result within your being, underneath your skin. Well, I'm not certain if you're aware, but your physical body is an expression of all the emotions and thoughts you feel. Like the earth, Gaia, and how the planet itself is an expression of how she feels. So the oceans, the depths, the caves, the crystals, the flowers, they're all an emotional manifestation of Gaia. We can agree on that, right? So you as a human are gifted with all of these different emotions and the ability to imagine and put what you imagine and feel into action, into the world of what you perceive as matter, so the physical world. And then you get stuff, but then it takes time. And then time is something you made up to teach yourself to be responsible. So, why would you be afraid of utilizing any negative emotion to create a positive outcome or something positive? Do you think those copper wires used for jewelry wire were made with sunshine and daisies? Or was destruction used to get that copper? And then from that destruction and all that chaos that went into making that, simple hands weave it into something, around something, and it becomes something completely else, completely different, depending on the energy used to manipulate the current energy. There is absolutely no need to allow anger or sadness or any petty vibration to influence how you manifest your life. It's all energy to be used by the magician. So think about it this way. You're in a role-playing game, on your PS4 or like the computer, and you're playing a character that's a cleric. They heal things. They're the healer. Everything they do is they use the light, they use consciousness, they use prayer, imagination, and they heal wounds and shield and protect. It's basically what a human does, right? And then they create different things with that light. Well, what they use is mana. It's like an energy source, like a pool of energy. For a human being, that mana is your emotions. So when the cleric's using those emotions, that mana, to heal a wound, that cleric is feeling something. And it's transferring that feeling into the wound to create a certain sense of healing. One reality overriding the other one. Basically, the wound and the wounded would have to accept that they want healing and that they are already healed. So which is a change of emotional states, a change of the use of mana already there. So if you have like a bunch of pent-up resentment, or like a bunch of anger, or you're afraid of success, or you're having arguments with so and so, or there's people being shady about you and you don't even know about it, or whatever your situation is, whatever emotion it is you're feeling that has thoughts backed up to it, trick yourself, change it into something else. Be really pissed off about having a new car. Be really afraid of having a society that's actually woke. Hashtag woke. Be absolutely sad that you just got $1 million. Like, oh no, you're gonna have to spend all this money and travel everywhere and get all these new things, and you're gonna have to say goodbye to who you were, and no more excuses about being poor. And then you can take, the whatever energy you want, whatever it is. Your happiness for how a puppy is so cute and playful. You can take that and be like, oh, look at that giant crystal vase, encrusted in diamonds. It's so cute and playful, isn't it? You can transmute anything. Anything. Any moment that you're experiencing, positive or negative, your body is feeling it first, right? And you're not a slave to your body. You're obviously telling your body what to do. So when you're in the void and you're feeling all this and you're shaping your body subconsciously, and then consciously you're experiencing things happening in your reality, and you're like, well, this isn't what I want. Yeah, but it's working towards that due to the emotions you used during manifesting it, whether you thought about it or not, whether you're watching a movie and you're just, on autopilot or not. You felt certain things. So do it on purpose. Do your shadow work and your inner child work, but actively transmute it into some material thing or experience you want to have. So you know how, like, whenever we're worried about manifesting something, it usually happens? Like, I used to manifest so many fights because I was worried about having a fight. And it ended up crying, like, oh, I didn't want to fight. But I was worried about having a fight. And I tried something the other day, and I was like, well, I didn't want to go have, like, lunch with somebody. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's such a worrying thing. And then I thought, no, wait. I caught myself immediately. I'm like, I'm so worried it's going to be so great. I'm so worried it's going to be so ridiculous. And it was fun. It was amazing. Like, my neighbor is awesome. She really is. Like, you have to trick yourself. You have to reverse it so you can feel anxious about something like a job promotion. You can feel nervous and afraid about a wedding proposal. You can be terrified of accepting a giant check. You can be absolutely angry and ticked off that you're healthy and that your mind has been playing tricks on you and there's nothing wrong with you. And turn that anger on bettering the structure of your mind instead of what you're seeing outside. You're being given all the tools, right? This is one of your tools, the ability to feel negative emotions. Why would you try to drench the fire? Let it burn, but use it to kindle the stars. Remember that old channel name, the Star Kindler? Do you think a star is sitting there like singing Kumbaya up in space? No, it's like a force of complete destruction if you get too close to it. Don't touch it. Like, come on. You're a complete and whole being, right? So what's the problem? And then the other thing. Well, do we want to go into that now? Don't get involved in other people's drama. When you're in the void, there's an awareness, right? That there's the absorption of all the light and consciousness in all of consciousness. The void is the counterbalance to consciousness. It's the lack of, right? Everything. But since everything is a part of consciousness, then that means the void is also conscious. Which means, since you're conscious and everything in the universe is a reflection of you, you have the void inside you as well at all times. Just like the entire galaxy, the universe has tiny black holes everywhere. Or in, a lot of places, whatever. So what if the void, like your negative emotions, are actually a tool and a feature of your physical body? Now, where would the void be? Which energy center in your body is the one that, if in negative polarity, absorbs everything endlessly like an abyss? It's not the root, it's not the sacral, it's not the third eye, it's not the crown, it's not the earth star, it's not any of the ones you don't know about. It's the heart. When you withhold, like, remember in X-Men 2 when Jean Grey's holding the tidal wave of water back? Do you think she's doing that with playful puppy emotions? No. She's doing it with a ferocity to protect family, to sustain life. And you have that capacity within you, within the heart chakra, which has the capacity to absorb endlessly, infinitely. Nothing you give some narcissist that is focused on, the negative polarity, like a magnet flip in reverse, will ever be enough. It's like an endless void. There's never enough money for a gold digger. There's never enough plants for somebody that keeps plants. There's never enough cats for a crazy cat person. There's never enough power. But all of that comes from an imbalanced heart. It's like a vortex spinning the other way, which means the void is like the Akashic records within you, which holds all the information, all the light. And when you're thinking and feeling and manifesting, you're pulling things from the void. Dark space, antimatter, parallel realities, other variations, because you yourself are in the center of the void. You are the void. You're it. Ta-da! And you're encased in flesh, and you're creating your reality based on the darkness and the light within, right? We all kind of know this. We're just kind of avoiding knowing this, because we all feel empty inside, and there's a reason for it. We're supposed to feel that way because we're endless and infinite. We're supposed to feel empty. That's the energetic force that keeps matter together. Do you get it? That emptiness is gravity. That emptiness is how you're walking and sitting and having fingers. It's what's holding everything together. The void. So when you're pulling things into reality, sometimes you use negative energy, but you can use it to bring positive things into effect. But in order to do that, you have to have a mental, emotional, and spiritual intelligence high enough to do it with grace, not to harm anyone, but to hold space for everything to manifest in divine timing. So what do I mean? I think that should be up to you, so you can think about it. Think about the feeling the feeling of trying to hold water or sand, that fleetingness. When you're looking at someone and you're waving by and you immediately start missing them, you feel that emptiness. But at the same time, there's still something there. It's like a in between of ebb and flow, like push and pull, that in between point. It's like where everything just kind of becomes still. It's like a subtle vibration around your body that's keeping your body together from the inside out. Even though you have no idea what's going on inside you, you know there's something holding everything together. That's the void. That's the energy of light and consciousness and the void balanced together, like the center point of a pendulum swinging back and forth. The middle weight. Find that balance in you where you could see the symphony in, you know how they do building demolitions to rebuild, you know, a new building or a newer model building over it, like that, like some ratty old building being destroyed and then rebuilt, but in fast forward. Now when you're watching that play out in your mind, what music is playing with it? If it's angry music, it would be like destructive, right? A destructive rebuilding. But if it's like violin music, it's probably some kind of artsy flower shop being rebuilt. If it's some space techno music, it's probably some space-aged building that appears in your mind, isn't it? That's how you manifest your reality. I hope that makes sense. What else? I urge you, make peace in your life. Make peace. I've been seeing so much stuff, and when you use hindsight for experiences that haven't even happened yet, with people that you don't even know yet, when you use your mind and your worry with the intent of learning ahead of time, when you do that, you start having little realizations where you kind of deal with future situations in the present moment, and then you come back to the present moment, and then you're wiser for it. So I've been playing out a lot of situations in my mind regarding like great-grandchildren and, you know, their relationship problems in like the year 2080 or something, right? Like it's way down the line. Probably a blink of an eye. And I've been trying to teach myself things from the point of view of not just like the life I've lived, you know, the son and the daughter, or the maiden aspect, and then the brief stint as the father-son, the father-mother aspect. But like I fast forwarded way past the crone aspect, or the sage. I went right to like when there's nothing left at all anywhere. And then I look back from there and then back towards Earth and like 70 years down the line. And like even the wildest future I could imagine. You know what I kept thinking about? I hope everyone's getting along. Like, I hope that they're not dealing with the petty arguments, drama, petty use of energy manipulation, you know, suffering, violent behavior, gossiping, treachery, betrayal. Like, I hope you guys have, like, in the future, like, I was thinking to myself, I hope you guys have learned how to harness that energy to create beautiful sculpture, like a building that is completely, you know, sharp and jagged and broken, but it's functional and beautiful, and you can go in there and drink coffee. You know, use that betrayer energy to create a ridiculous building. Like, from the outside, it looks like it's a freaking gorgeous rainforest or a flower shop, and you walk in, but it's like a bookstore. Boom, betrayed. Betrayal energy, but usage of to create joy and splendor. Illusions and mirages, but used beneficially. You know, you can use sound waves to create vibrations and change the structure of things, right? You can do it with sand. You can prove it to yourself. Put a speaker next to a sheet of glass with sand on it. The sand is going to change shape. So why wouldn't you just be able to change things physically with sound? That wall has a structure. Change it. Destroy it, but without destroying it. Transmute it in real time. It's doable. 70 years down the line, a lot more is doable. You can lay down on a table and have somebody push a button and you go from male to female in an instant. It's just a vibration. The female body holds a frequency, the male body holds a frequency. They just tune your frequency to that frequency, and boom, you're done. It takes like 10 seconds. But right now we're like doing surgeries. Ridiculous. Like 80 years down the line, you'd have instantaneous, you know, teleportation between multiverses. Just walk through a doorway. It's easy. It's like you're picking up a phone and calling somebody. What do you mean? It's not even space-age technology. You just, you know, push a button and walk through a door, and then you're there. You don't even need a car. The entire world is overrun with forests and life because people just manifest something right in front of their face in an instant. It's like they walk and flowers grow beneath their feet. They're using the force of destruction of their feet touching the ground to create life where they destroyed something. But here, we put plastic on our feet. Do you see how when you look at things in hindsight, it brings a sense of feebleness to what we're going through now? Regardless of what it is, at some point, even 1,000 years in the future, your problems will be nothing more than letters on a page, if even that. Faint whispers of memories, depending on how well you lived your life. But what you can do right now is create some peace in your life, right? Make the best of your relationships, make the best of your body, of your environment, of the people you think about, of the people you talk about, of the way you spend your money, the way you treat others, the people from your past, the people that you interact with daily. Yeah, maybe utopia isn't possible yet, but is that really your excuse to be a douchebag? Or less than you can be? Is it? Really? Do you use other people's behavior to justify your own? Do you make up situations in your mind to justify doing something? Do you make up things about other people to justify behaving in a certain way just because you wanted to behave in a certain way, but you lied about somebody else so that your behavior wouldn't look so bad. It would seem justified in response to their behavior, when that other person has nothing to do with any of it. They don't even know you exist. Wouldn't your legacy be better if you had the wisdom of the void itself? What does the void want? Think about it. It's in all of us, right? It's a part of everything. But it's also nothing. And it's an infinite, endless abyss of something. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an abyss. It's something, somewhere. We're aware of it. It's aware of us. There is an actual process going on between the void and consciousness. There is a literal push and pull, right? The void is quote unquote consuming consciousness in the form of light, in the form of everything. So, what does it want? What is the one thing everybody wants? Every living being, every form, every structure, every particle, every molecule, every atom, everything. What is the one thing every single thing you can imagine has in common? What is it? It's simple. Simple, isn't it? Everything wants to be held together. Everything wants to exist. Everything wants what you think is love. Everything. The electricity running through the copper wires. Do you think it runs across the copper wire because it hates it? Do you think when the sun touches those leaves that there's anger or fear? It's a force of destruction used to create life. It's a relishing in love. The void is in love with consciousness. Consciousness is in love with the void. They are constantly consuming each other. The fact that you are always hungry for love is your gift. So back to the beginning of this video, I was telling you about being an energy vampire to source. Be that to source, not to him or her, or plants, or foliage, or animals, or elements. First, find your consciousness and devour it. Become the phoenix and just let yourself implode and explode. And then guide it like a dance, like a symphony, like a song, like a poem, like a gentle caress of your hair, like a kiss on the forehead, like a child being proud of something they drew, like a puppy proud of a stick, like birds singing for no reason. Get really angry and draw something. cry all over something you write. Imagine being afraid to talk to the love of your life. Be terrified, shaking your boots over it. Be so angry that you punch a sculpture and create a masterpiece out of the clay you punched. Design a city so chaotic and destructive it actually functions to sustain a permaculture food forest for itself. An entire ecosystem, a block wide, every 10 miles. Use that chaos to do something proper. Otherwise, all you are is a child wielding a hose with way too much power going through it. Like, you can run through it, you can play, you can have whatever fun you want, bask in the sunlight. But until you learn to wield your emotions, you're just a kid playing in a sandbox. Take care of yourself and honor yourself and those around you. There'll come a day when you all remember everything. Every single one of you will remember who the other one is and exactly what you've done to each other. You'll remember. I do, for the most part. And I still love you. So, do your future self a favor. Don't be an asshat to anybody, especially yourself. It takes courage to be kind, you know? I just felt my voice change so bad. 37 minutes. Fucking fuck, this was supposed to be 10 minutes. I did it again, didn't I? I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna rewatch this. This seemed like I wasn't even here. Anyway, stop recording.